Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a virtual summit with European Union leaders today. A range of bilateral, regional and global issues of interest to India and the EU will figure in the talks, including trade and investment. Also on the agenda is the fight against COVID-19 and research and development on a vaccine for it. More in this report.
The 15th summit between India and the European Union will be held on 15 July via video conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding talks with the President of the European Council, Charles Michel, and the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. The EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell, will also participate in the talks. The summit will be an opportunity to strengthen the EU-India strategic and trade partnership. The European Union is India's largest trading partner, whilst India is the EU's 9th largest partner. The latest data on trade in bilateral goods and services registers nearly $150 billion. Both sides are also willing to re-engage for negotiations for a comprehensive and mutually beneficial free trade agreement. The EU is the second largest destination for Indian exports after USA. The EU's share in foreign investment inflows to India more than doubled from 8% to 18% in the last decade, making the EU the first foreign investor in India. EU foreign direct investment stocks in India is significant. Some 6,000 European companies are present in India, providing directly 1.7 million jobs and indirectly 5 million jobs in a broad range of sectors. Indian companies invested over 50 billion euros in Europe since 2000. The summit is happening at a time when the world is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The summit will be an opportunity to discuss and identify synergies in healthcare, the production of pharmaceuticals and vaccines, research and development, diagnostics and treatment. The leaders are expected to call for the future COVID-19 vaccine to become a global common good. The EU-India summit will also delve upon global and regional issues. The leaders are expected to reaffirm their determination to promote effective multilateralism and the rules-based multilateral order with the United Nations and the World Trade Organization at its core. At the summit, the discussion is also expected on a number of pressing situations in the EU's and India's immediate neighborhoods. Sources said that the ongoing tension along the line of actual control with China, cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan, and prospects for peace in Afghanistan may also come up for discussion during the summit. The leaders will also discuss ways to harness human-centric digitalization to develop inclusive economies and societies, including as regards data protection, 5G and artificial intelligence. Towards the conclusion, a futuristic document, a roadmap to 2025, is expected to be adopted by both the sides. The document will guide cooperation between the EU and India over the next 5 years. With inputs from Abhishek Jha, Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, at that European meet there, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pitch for an early harvest agreement will convey India's position there on key issues like trade, investments, that could be up for discussions. Also to secure closer ties with the European Union will be both on the agenda when it comes to economic as well as political affairs or concerns over China that could be up for discussion in that important meeting that the Prime Minister is going to address virtually. And Abhishek Jha, our correspondent, joining us with more inputs. Well, Abhishek, looking at this particular virtual meeting that the Prime Minister has today morning, what's in store? What does Prime Minister there offer, or what does Prime Minister offer in terms of India's position on key trade, investment as well as political issues that are political and economic issues that are of concerns with regards to China?
Okay, I think this whole thing is happening in the background of the global pandemic, COVID,
Agreed.
Which every country is trying to, fight out. So now the first thing that the leaders on both sides are going to discuss about this the COVID thing and how India and European Union can collaborate and cooperate on that. That includes research, diagnostic, ensuring medical supplies to the people. The major second thing is that India and EU have been talking about their free trade agreement so that they can have better market access and the better, investment opportunity in each other's area. That is one thing that might come on the table for discussion, and there can be some progress on that, because this is not something that is one-time discussion. This is going to happen in a time-bound manner where India and EU will have their opinion and their concerns expressed to each other, and accordingly a free trade agreement can be reached out.
Okay.
The third major thing will be Prime Ministers discussing the immediate neighborhood and India's concern, what is happening on the borders, what is happening on cross-border terrorism. So these are also issues that India, from the point of India, that is going to be discussed at European Union Summit.
Okay, one quick word before I let you go. Keep that brief. Is there India looking at a partnership with European Union with regards to a possible cure when it comes to the virus for COVID-19? You set the framework, but you bring that a large and low cost production that we would bring to the table. So is there an amalgamation of ideas or a symbiosis of ideas that we're looking at that could be up for discussion when it comes to COVID-19?
Of course, Anil. India is world's 60% or more vaccines are manufactured in India. So in any case, be it European Union, USA, or around the world, if any country gets a breakthrough in COVID vaccine, India is one country they cannot ignore. They have to depend on that for a accessible, affordable, and bulk supply of vaccine. So India is going to be, of course, a partner in COVID vaccine manufacturing, even with EU, if they happen to find a breakthrough in that.
Okay, we'll leave it there, but let's just like there has been a digital push by the global markets taking a closer look at India, let's hope at European Union to bring something to the table that could be a win-win situation for both of us. Well, moving on now to Rajasthan, the Congress on Tuesday cracked down on Sachin Pai